Chapter 3 of OEC is an introduction to rescue basics. In this first podcast, we'll talk about being prepared to work outside and respond to an injured skier or snowboarder. Part of that is dressing properly, so we'll talk about layering clothing to preserve body heat. You need to be ready to go in a wide variety of situations. Sometimes you respond to a single patient on a mild weather day. Other times, darkness may be approaching because it's December near the solstice. It might be snowy or windy or extremely cold. Along with that, you'll respond to patients where maybe some body substances are available. And the most important person in the universe is yourself. You need to learn to take care. Specifically with contagious disease, in a later podcast, we'll talk about personal protective equipment. In this first part of Chapter 3, preparing to work outdoors, one of the key things to understand is that you're going to be working outside, whether as a bike patroller in the summer, where perhaps afternoon thunderstorms could approach, or with rapidly changing conditions in the winter as a ski patroller, and you need to prepare for any of those conditions. It's also important to prepare mentally. You need to prepare for the worst case scenario, an extremely injured patient, interference by family members who may be distraught, responding with improvisation when equipment fails, and so that mental preparedness becomes important. Physical fitness allows you to respond all day long to ill and injured skiers. Many times incidents will occur back to back. We see here someone mountain biking. That's good cross training for being a ski patroller. Now, fatigue is really important. If you are tired, it can lead to judgment errors that can actually set you up potentially for some legal or ethical issues. So make sure that you're getting a proper amount of sleep, and along with that, feeding your body, recognizing good nutrition can allow you to perform at your best. Hydration is something to also consider. We oftentimes in the winter don't realize how dehydrated we've become, but a significant amount of water is not just lost by perspiration, but just by respiration. If you wake up in the morning and you fog the mirror, hey, you know you're alive, and you also know that you're losing a little bit of water with each breath. Make sure that you stay hydrated. Alcohol and substance abuse cannot be tolerated in any work environment, and particularly when working outside as a ski patroller. The medical and legal risks are too great for you personally. Now, when we consider working outside, we also need to consider how we prepare and how we dress. Keep in mind all of those rapid weather changes that can occur. And so typically, we have a base layer close to our skin that's typically synthetic because these materials wick away perspiration. The middle layer is insulating by trapping air close to the body. Fleece and wool do a great job and can actually insulate when wet. Down has the highest warmth to weight ratio. Think about your favorite puffy, but be careful. Unless the shell is water resistant, it can lose its insulating properties. And finally, that outside layer, your shell, should be water and wind repellent. Think Gore-Tex. One thing we also need to consider is skin protection, and we'll look at eye protection too. Reflective ultraviolet radiation from the snow surface can actually allow for greater likelihood of sunburn than perhaps even in the summertime. Make sure that you apply sunscreen every day as you're ready to work outside. Eye protection is critical, not just for protecting your eyes in that outside environment from perhaps debris or skiing through trees, but we also know that ultraviolet radiation long-term can damage your vision as well. Finally, helmets are becoming much more of a norm in the outdoor environment, whether as a bike patroller or a ski patroller. That's a good thing. They're warm, they're comfortable, and that technology is designed to protect your skull in case of a collision. One added thing that you'll see a lot of ski patrollers or bike patrollers carry is backcountry equipment, along with any gear you need for your own well being, food, water, and comfort items. It's possible to take some survival items as well, maybe a space blanket or a bivy sack, a flashlight or a headlamp for those long days where it may be after sundown before your workday ends. And finally, a whistle is always a good idea. Many ski patrollers will carry a whistle just because they work better than their own voice, for example, when around a snowcat or a snowmobile or other loud equipment. In this podcast, we looked at Objective 3.2, preparing to work outdoors, and a lot of it is common sense. If you participate in outdoor sports, you're familiar with these things, but be prepared and prepare yourself to be successful each day when you go to work.